Hey guys, it's Sam back with another challenge video, and this time I'm going to be doing the cheap art supplies challenge, and all these supplies were relatively cheap. I went to Publix and got a sketchbook. This one is just called Heavyweight drawing paper from Create, or You Create, I've never heard of them. And anyway, it was like $4 I think, and the paper it doesn't feel all too bad. And I couldn't use normal computer paper for what I wanted to do, so that's why I got a sketchbook. And also going to be using these markers, Crayola 10-pack. This is going to be what I'm coloring with. I have found a cheap pencil. Well, Alex gave it to me to use. This is just a normal ballpoint pen. Bunch of Q-tips, which you guys will see later that I'm spilling everywhere, and some water from the sink, and I may or may not be using acrylic paint depending on how this goes, but that was like 50 cents and I bought it several years ago. Anyway, so that's the supplies that I'll be using. I think in total, if I were to guesstimate, including the price of stuff that we already owned, this would have cost $10 for everything. But yeah, so let's get started and see how this goes. So in starting this challenge, I kind of already had an idea of what I wanted to do, which was to draw my OC Mono, which I made from FanPro. And I wanted to try and have a different pose for him, but then I realized I drew him in like the same way that I always draw him, and yeah, I really need to start coming with more unique poses. This is a little difficult because he doesn't have any arms, so you kind of gotta be a little bit more creative. So I pretty much just redrew a picture that I drew digitally a while back, but anyway, so I knew I wanted to do that, so it was gonna be underwater, so I was hoping to be able to use all of the markers, which I did. I used all 10 of them in the picture somewhere. I know now, looking at the final drawing, what I can do differently, which is probably, I got more used to using them, first of all, so that's good. I was kind of nervous when I was drawing this because it's like, oh shit, Crayola markers, but it wasn't that bad actually. And if you're curious what I'm doing right now, I'm dipping the Q-tips in water, not like too much, and drawing on like another sheet of paper. I tried using printer paper and it died instantly. I used this Q-tip, I swiped a little bit and it just tore the paper. So you'd want to use tougher paper if you're gonna use this technique. But anyway, and then I just scrape off some of the ink from the paper and then I wipe it down, and it's a lot lighter of a color and I feel like I have more control over what it looks like. And I kept changing my mind about how I wanted to do stuff with this picture, and it's like, the braver and braver I got, the better this picture became, because I was so timid and paranoid about like screwing things up, and it's like, it's Crayola markers, it's gonna look bad. So, well, I mean, I don't know how to use them, but there are definitely people who can use Crayola markers amazingly. I am not one of those people. But yeah, so more balance of color, and I kind of realized this towards the end when I fixed the water. I'm nowhere near that part yet, but the background is so dark around him and he really oddly pops out, and I think I should have made him darker and added a bit more color variety throughout. It feels unbalanced, the picture overall. But aside from that, I want to say I'm happy with it. There's definitely parts I don't like, but I guess for Crayola markers, and this being my first time using them at this age, like I used them when I was really, really little, and I have never used them in this way before, but it was actually kind of fun and a little stressful and aggravating. Like as I was drawing this, I was like, this looks like a 5-year-old's coloring this. But yeah, definitely if you guys try this at all, which I recommend because it's pretty fun. It doesn't have to be like Crayola markers, like you guys could do any cheap stuff challenge, but be brave and be bold, because that really helped with this picture. Like, that's kind of a cool effect, like the water with the background, but I don't know what it is. It's like a fiery looking thing. I think that really helped saved it because I couldn't get any sort of smooth transition between the dark and the light without really tearing into the paper. And by the way, this paper tore pretty easily despite it being heavier. And I tried to use it to my advantage, actually, because I realized it as I was starting to shade the face. I was like, wow, this paper is not going to hold. So I was trying to plan ahead, being like, where would I want the paper to tear? Because where the paper tears, it's going to be lighter and more rough and add a texture. So that's something to consider as well when you're doing something like this, how the paper will react and to use it to your advantage. But this is a lot of fun, and yeah, I kind of actually really want to do another Crayola marker picture in the future, just to see what else I can do, because it's a different medium and it's really fun. But yeah, lesson definitely learned. Go darker, go bolder, and try and find a white Sharpie or something, because that acrylic paint was not fun to work with. And it would not splatter either, so I had to like hand paint my own little splattered dots. But whatever, that's the name of the game, is you don't know what's gonna happen. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!